It's been a long road. I started with A Life to Remember. That was my first book back in 2003. And it was kind of a fluke. I had no intentions on really, becoming an author and really getting out there and getting into the business. As I learned the business, I was like, okay, this is something that I would really like to do. So that just kind of prompted a change in career for me. I've always been into business. My husband and I, we actually have a few other businesses as well. So it was kind of easier for me to do the publishing as opposed to being an author.
Right.
So while I do write, my love is probably just for the business of it. Yeah. Brused 1, the first part, it really deals with a young woman who's very well off, has a lot going for herself. She ends up meeting the wrong guy, Devin, who's very, very manipulative, basically no good. She can't see the light because she's so in love. But Devin is from the street, and he brings a lot of negative energy to Carly. He's the main character. He's chasing her in high-speed car chases, stalking her from behind bushes. He's, we still get emails about him. So that prompted part 2. There had to be a part 2 because people could not get enough of it.
And did she have a hard time getting out of this relationship?
Definitely. She brought a lot of people from her circle, family and friends, into that relationship because they were fighting for her as well. It's a big mess. But you know what? It's really a very realistic story.
Right.
I think a lot of people can relate to this book because they've either gone through something very similar to her situation, or they know someone who has. They know perfect relationships. So I think this book just kind of can touch the lives of everyone.
Do you have any advice to people who might be in a situation where they're being manipulated and they know they are, but they're not really?
Definitely. You gotta just dig deep inside and get some self-esteem and get out of there because it doesn't get better. People don't change.
Right.
And now if you think about it, in today's society, a lot of younger women, when I say younger teens, starting 16-year-olds, they're subject to verbal abuse. You can walk through the streets and you hear, guys talking to them in the wrong manner, and they're laughing, and it doesn't get any better.
Right.
So you have to start, to stop the nonsense somewhere, basically.
Right.
So in the back of the book, we also list different references for people who are dealing with domestic abuse.
Awesome.
So while it is fiction, we know that it is really happening. So it has definitely touched a lot of women. We get letters all the time saying, wow, I didn't realize that this was happening to me until I read this book. So